Hi everyone. So continue this channel. So I'm gonna talk about numerology today, briefly, not for 3 hours. But I want to emphasize something about the master numbers. There are a lot of people saying, "Oh, I have a master number." That doesn't mean you are like a chosen one or you are a great person. You have a lesson to learn. They are like in numerology, like anything else. You have positive traits and negative traits. So I see a guy on YouTube, and he does numerology stuff, and it's like number 3 is like the letter C, and it's letter of communication, and in different languages it's not necessarily the same word. So let's keep that in mind. He was giving these kind of references with other words and said, well, that's not the same in French. So the Latin root is important as well. So anyway, the master numbers, they call them like 11, 22, 33. Okay, so 11, they tell you to not reduce it to number 2. I kind of disagree, because when and where did they get this information from? It's always like a tradition repeated, and you just create some kind of a system which is rigid. Numerology is not a rigid system. So 11 is a number that you can reduce just to see some traits. So 11 is like number 1. Number 1 is a very independent person, and you're gonna do your path not necessarily alone, but you can have partnerships, but you are very, a tiny bit authoritarian. Like, you don't need help. You want people to leave you alone when you cook, when you start a business or something like this. So the partnership will be kind of difficult for other people and also for you. So, but you can reduce it. So it's 2 number 1. So it's like 2 strong numbers and very masculine. So lots of masculine power here. Maybe a tiny bit aggressive, I would say. So 11 can be a bit aggressive, I would say. There is also a narcissistic trait. So it's not all good, okay? So it can be an angelic number, but maybe this is a message from an angel telling you, look, be careful. That's how you're going to be. So know yourself. If you reduce it to number 2 is kind of a dependent number. It always depends on somebody else. There is like, you will do things with somebody else. So it's just like maybe the teaching here is more about you cannot always do things alone. If you have a narcissistic trait, be careful, because you can be a tiny bit tyrannic with other people. So I would say just be careful on this level. Of course, it's so funny because I always check with the Tarot of Marseille. Tarot of Marseille was French originally, so I always get the French names of the cards, because the translation is not always right, so especially in English and Spanish. So the number 1 is a battler. The battler is like the magician. And but it's not just a magician or wizard. It's somebody who's going to start a business, start something, a venture. This is the beginning of something, okay? So when you check the wheel, let's say the wheel of fortune, the number 10, is also, 1 is a combination of different things, okay? It's just not number 1. It can be 2 numbers added, subtracted, divided, okay, multiplied. So you can have an infinite and endless possibilities to get number 1. So let's check the wheel of the fortune, number 10 in Tarot of Marseille. 1 plus 0 equals 1. It's a wheel. But number 1 is like the beginning of something. So that would be like, okay, the wheel stops and ends on number 1. You start something. Number 1 is like, as I said, a masculine number. So you impose things. You can impose ideas. You may not listen well. The magician, I have my stuff here, just with the tarot cards. But the magician, if you have, the guy has a board, he has a table, and he starts something. Will he sell something? Will he make something, So it's, it's what you can do, but you have a negative trait. You may not be able to do something, okay? So you can or you cannot. Now, when you have the number 2, you have the papesse. Papesse is like As I said, I'm going to use the French names. So the papesse is like the high priestess. And the high priestess, it's kind of weird because you don't see a priest being a woman. Even when the Tarot of Marseille was created, it's not a feminine job, okay? So there is an idea of being just, an idea of being in touch with the divine, an idea of being, the knowledge, okay? But it's like a spiritual knowledge. So, but number two is still like you have two things together. So you have this sense of partnership. You still need something or someone in order to know, to get to know your knowledge. You don't get it because you meditated or, you don't get it alone, okay? So number one is individual, independent, a tiny bit authoritarian, I would say, a tiny bit more like free, do things alone. Number two is the high priestess, and the high priestess is more like in connection with something, and there is a sense of partnership. Now, there are a lot of other meanings, but I'm just focusing on things that I haven't heard in numerology. Number three is an interesting number because here you have a trinity, basically. It's like a triangle. So the high priestess will be the line, the battler, the magician will be number one, the dot, you start something, after you have a line, after you have the triangle. So the Empress is not necessarily something on the spiritual level. It's more like the feminine power, the fertility, but also you have materialistic a tiny bit. So some people would say it's a number of communication, okay, but it's more like you start getting a tiny bit more stable. There is an idea of, okay, I cannot just be spiritual. I need to eat. I need to pay my bills, this kind of stuff. So the Empress would be more like somebody who's a tiny bit more practical, can go to war, can pay bills, can be a tiny bit more rational on this level. Number four will be square. So, and we can go on and on and on with the geometric numbers. Be careful. Sacred geometry is also important. So we can relate, we can combine sacred geometry, we can combine the tarot, we can combine numerology, we can combine a lot of things actually to it. Chemistry as well, just so you know. So now we have the Emperor. So the Emperor on the image, he owns, he looks a tiny bit like an alchemist. He has a power, he has a stick. So there is an idea of the earth energy in a tiny bit. It's not the air, but it's more like earth energy, more masculine, of course, because that's the Emperor. You have the square is more stable, a tiny bit, maybe like administration, bureaucracy, this kind of boring stuff, accounting. So somebody has a weight, knowledge, but he uses the knowledge for practical stuff, not necessarily for creative things. Creativity, yes, but it's a creativity, but control creativity. There is an idea of control here. Number five, so now we can have another geometrical thing. So we can have the dot inside the square. But that will be the Pope. So the Pope, so imagine a square with like a dot on top. So that would be like in touch with the spiritual aspect. That's very interesting because the square is stable, but there is an idea of still being in touch with the spiritual aspect. On the other hand, the high priestess is more like a line, okay, maybe a vertical or horizontal. It depends how you behave in your life. But the square is stable, so you have the idea of the rules. We are in touch with the spiritual, but it's more like somebody who's not, spiritual, but yes, but also very materialistic. Okay, so a sense of not very materialistic. It's more like I'm in touch with the spiritual, but I'm also grounded. And I know that people need rules in order to live their lives and not make stupid stuff. Okay, so there is a combination of that, but it's not like spiritual, like air spiritual. It's very much grounded. Okay, number six, so you can have the hexagram. For a lot of people in magic, hexagram will be like the sun. They use it for different materialistic stuff as well. But in the tarot, you have the the lover. So if I check the geometrical aspect, so that would be the hexagram, 6 points, so you can have 2 triangles together. I mean, also with the number 5, you can just add a triangle if you want. You know, you have a dot on top and you just link it to the square, you have a triangle on top. So, but here, the lover, number 6, a lot of people say that number 6 is related to the family. Yes, it's just not limited to this. So number 6 will be more like, so the lover is just like, if I check the card, you have a couple below, like, I forgot the name of this angel. I forgot the name of the angel. So on top, but he's blind. It's more like love, blind love, but you know, it's like, I'm gonna throw my arrow and let's see what's gonna happen. Number 6, okay, so family number, we could say that, but it's a couple at the ground. It's more like we have the love, which could be the spiritual aspect, so the first triangle on top, and the last triangle will be a tiny bit more grounded. But you can also have the symbol of earth, I mean of fire and water, etc., etc. So you see, you can relate, I mean, you can mix and blend a lot of things. When I check the card, also there is the power of divinity. You know that this angel is like on top of a pedestal, and he's just like he has 2 sticks, not arrows actually, 2 sticks on my card. It's just two sticks, and the 2 lovers are, you know, looking at each other, and when they shake hands. So they agree to a contract. They agree to something, okay, they will do together. And the woman on her right hand has like a green glove and with a scarf. Okay, they all have like blonde hair for some reason. And also the red socks, etc. So there are a lot of symbols, but I'm gonna just stay with the number 6, which could be the family number, the relationship, trust, you know. There is an idea of satisfaction between 2 parts, etc. But it's love, okay. Number 7, so 7 is a control. So this is like, in the tarot, you have a guy, you know, in a chariot and controlling 2 horses, okay. So that's control, basically. So 7 is a tiny bit hard. It's also a magic number, but it depends where it comes from, okay, and also the circumstance. But 7 can be a magic number, but there's an idea of control. You know, I know that if I get lucky, is because I provoked luck. You know, let's go faster here. Number 8. A lot of people say that's number of justice. It is a justice in the tarot card. And so if I check my tarot card here, I have this woman. So the woman is a justice. She has the scale and the sword. But there is a guy on top, so maybe he's an angel, and there is an idea of knight, you know, I fight, balance, so there's an idea of balance, honor, justice, which may not always be fair, but in this card is more like the justice, what we imagine justice should be, okay, fairness, go back to something a tiny bit more balanced, okay, we're gonna get, you know, there was like injustices, you are going to get back that, okay, the justice will come back. So 8, it's like 2 squares, so it can be the police, it can be justice, a lawyer, judge, something like this. But there is an idea of somebody who's like a tiny bit OCD, okay? Tiny bit OCD, so let's be careful of this number. Number 9 is my favorite because it's the hermit. And somebody who is knowledgeable, that would be like a yogi or somebody who is doesn't really care about the material aspect. But it can be an alchemist, it can be a wizard as well. But somebody like, you know, the representation of this card will be like Merlin, you know. Not the center of the attention, someone who is like in the dark, in the shadow, but he knows about human beings, he knows about humanity, he knows about a lot of things. Someone who's being living in you know, throughout the different generations. And it's just a bit like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to dwell or mingle with the human beings because I know what all the consequences. So, but there is this idea of Saturn and also the knowledge. It's a bit dry. Somebody who is not really like, you know, this kind of people who likes, they need to live among other people in order to feel, you know, they cannot live alone. You know, the number one is a loner. He can or she can live alone with no problem. Number nine, no. I mean, number nine, yes. But let's say a number three needs, you know, needs other people, you know. It's there is always this idea of needing other people or a partner, you know, in order to fulfill your identity in a sense, or your personality. So number nine is not like this. It's somebody who is highly knowledgeable, but there's a sense of responsibility as well. You need to get your knowledge. You're not born with knowledge, okay? I know two number nine. One is a kid and one is a woman, but she can get the knowledge, but she can also lose herself in, you know, it depends also the numbers you have in your chart, but you can also lose yourself and become materialistic. The hermit is not like this, is not materialistic. Or there can be somebody who hides in a very expensive castle with a retirement and doesn't give a damn about the rest of the world. You know, it's just like coming out time to time in order to buy grocery at the supermarket. But number nine is highly knowledgeable normally. And there is a sense of, you know, the number nine has like, the hermit has like this kind of some lamp, you know. So you are looking for your path as well. So, but you have the knowledge, okay? So you're in the dark, you know where to go in the dark. You have your lamp. And you may not be, you know, scared. And also the hermit has, what's the name? A stick. A long stick, so you're not alone. You can always find your way because of thanks to your knowledge and also your stick and your lamp. Okay, so number nine is not a bad number, but I would say it's a slow number. Okay, a tiny bit slow. Now the Wheel of Fortune, that's what I was telling you about. I'm gonna stop with this. There are many other numbers, but I'll come back a tiny bit in a few seconds with master numbers. So number 10 is a Wheel of Fortune, so it moves. There's something in movement. You have also the Svatika, that's in movement, it's not static, okay? The Svatika is a symbol, the sun symbol, it's not Nazi stuff. The wheel is moving, so something is in movement. So if you're looking for answers, maybe you can get an answer. Your destiny, the fate, the final option to a problem. It can be the result of something, you know. But there is an idea of movement, okay? So it's going somewhere. And it's not like, you know, the hangman, number 12. It's like static, not doing anything. The 10 is also number 1. So number 1 is like, okay, I'm going somewhere and we start something new, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. With numerology, it's not just one number. You have 10, which can be 1, and also it can come back to number 1 with the battler or the magician. Now, if I go to number 11, on the tarot card, the number 11 is the force, the strength. And there is a guy beating up a lion. So your strength can be good for certain things, but not all the time. You cannot be aggressive and strong all the time, okay? So the number 11 will be more like, okay, you can be a tiny bit authoritarian. You have the power, you have the double masculine power, but be careful because some people may not understand you. Some people may not want to hang out with you because you're too strong, your opinions are a tiny bit too imposing, okay? So the number 22, that's a crazy guy. So in the tarot card that I know, is a guy who's like, there's a dog biting him from the back, and he's living, and he has a big stick. So let's see if I have it here or the same, because it can be interesting. Yeah, so 21, 22, they put it on number 1, I don't know why, but So this is like the loco, crazy guy, but they call it, 22 is like 2 plus 2, 4. Okay. Maybe this is also earth related, but the guy lost most of his clothes. He has some feathers on his head. He has a big stick. It's an interpretation. I don't like it too much here, but I like the Tarot of Marseille because you see a dog biting the back of the leg or the shoe or the pants, and he's escaping something. But maybe it's all in his head, because in this card that I have here, there's no dog. The guy is more static looking. It doesn't really look crazy. There is a sense of fear, and the fear is like you escape something, or you lost, you're ridiculed, etc., etc. So 22, this is the idea of, 2 squares, 2 plus 2. You may not be able to live your life alone. Because maybe of psychological issues, okay? But there is no sense of rationality. It's like you have too many rules, and you ended up losing yourself, okay? Maybe a sense of OCD, but there is a lot of phobia, a lot of irrational fears, I would say, so yeah, it's not necessarily a good number. So to me, if I had the 22, I'll be like, oh. So because I'm adding the tarot cards as well, okay? Now 33, we don't have it in the Tarot Marseille. So to me, is it really a master number? Maybe, but at the same time, 3 per 3 triangle, we can get to the hexagram number 6, which is a family number, etc., etc. Maybe it could be the communication number, etc., etc. But I don't see it as a master number. I don't see it like the master teacher or anything like this. So some people can disagree with me, but every number is unique. It's not like one number will make you superior to other people. So it's a communication system, okay? The numerology is a communication system. So now, if I see a lot of numbers during the day, okay, some people will be like, oh, you have the angel numbers, the master numbers. It's a communication. Something is trying to tell you something, okay? Or you need to be careful of something. Or maybe you're on the right track, okay? So it depends. So now, for instance, today is a 2, number 2. 2 of December, but I cannot just take 2 like this alone. Okay, it's gonna be a needy. Well, I started my day needing people to communicate to me. It was 6:30, and the school bus didn't come to my home, and I had to communicate with them and tell them, hey, I need you to come here because you're supposed to become my daughter. So why not? Okay, now. December, if you want the Chaldean system, D is 4, okay? E is 5, so we have 9. C is 3, so we have 12. E again, 5, so we have 17. M, so we have, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we have you have like... the Chaldean is based on a number system, okay? So I don't have a pen because my cat is right here. So I'll show you quickly. So I know it's not an edited thing, but and I cannot really show you. So let's check from December. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We stay with 9. So we have A is 1, B is 2, C, D, E, F, G. No, because I'm thinking in French. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. So M is 4 again. So December, we're gonna have, so D is 4, E is 5, C is 3, E is 5, M is 4, B is 2, E is 5, and R is 9. Okay, so you calculate everything. So you have a lot of 5 here. 5 is 10. So we have 15, 19, 21, 30, 33, 37. 37 is not a master number, and equals 10. Ah, interesting, because that's my favorite number. Well, that's my last path number. So we have 2 of December, plus December is 1, so it's gonna be 3. Well, I started my day communicating a lot of stuff, and that's a triangle, so I needed people, but at the same time, I needed to communicate a lot of things. So I would say, you can go like this, on and on and on. So the 33, the 3 is like C and L, etc. So you cannot just be like, okay, it's a master number and I'm exceptional and I'm the chosen one. You cannot think like this, because you're going to miss out on so many things. It's telling you something, or it's just like the core or something else, It's not just you being like Superman. No one is Superman, okay? We are all learning different ways to be better. If you start your life and be like, I'm perfect, I'm the best, you're missing out on so many things, because you're not going to learn your life's lesson or your life lessons, okay? If you have any questions, I'm going to continue with the rest of the numbers, but I would say, it's interesting because up to number 10, you go back to the beginning, okay? Because you can reduce a lot of stuff. Again, with the master numbers, just be careful of what people say, because, it's like astrology. You're going to meet your soul partner today. I'm not a big believer in soul partners, because I think we all get with people who we can learn and we can teach. It's a partnership, okay? Of course, you can find your soulmate, etc., etc. Lucky you, but it's nice to have a tiny bit of tension in order to change yourself, balance your frequencies in order to live with other people, Anyways, you have a nice day. Bye.